How are we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to take a little bit of a look at engineering. Engineering falls into the same sort of pattern as it has done for many expansions now. It's the utility profession. It's going to offer you lots of perks and benefits, especially in terms of PvP. It's got all its usual bombs and sort of cool little gadgets and gizmos to play with. But today we're going to focus on getting it leveled up. Now this can be done quite quickly and quite easily, as we are mostly just creating parts all the way. Some parts go into more parts, go into more parts, and go into more parts. There's a bit of a pattern that will start to showcase itself here. What I have done is I've tried to work out a sort of shopping list for you guys. So if you want to go to the auction house, grab up a few materials before you start on this, you can. Now, some of these numbers are a little bit rough simply because we are not strictly guaranteed an exact quantity of items. You'll see Ceravite bolts, an item that we use lots and lots and lots and lots of, can either craft 2 or it can craft 3. So it may depend slightly just how, how much RNG blesses you to exactly how many materials you need, but 400 Ceravite ore should be more than enough to get yourself most of the way. You may need to pick up a few more if you're a little bit unlucky. 10 Draconium ore, not too much Draconium ores needed here at all. And then a few of the elements, some Rousing Earth, 100 Rousing Earth, 50 Rousing Fire. And then there's 5 smudged lenses. Now, don't get caught out. These are a vendor material. These can be purchased from engineering supplies across Dragon Isles. Don't feel the need to buy these off the auction house, as you may end up paying a premium if you do. Now, all the information in this video, plus loads more, is available in my Dragonflight goal making cheat sheet. This is where the shopping list is. This is where the leveling path is. This is also true for any of the other professions in Dragonflight. I've managed to work out a leveling path for all of them. And there's loads of other goodies in this cheat sheet. There's crafting cost calculators, prospecting milling rates, Dark Moon card calculators, the whole shebang. There's loads of good fun stuff in this. If you happen to be a YouTube member, a Patreon of mine, or a Twitch sub, you'll find a link to the goal making cheat sheet pinned in Discord. Big thank you for your continued support. But let's move on with leveling then. We're going to start off by crafting a whole bunch of these Ceravite bolts. I've picked up enough materials to craft 100 of these, so I'm going to get these going. These will actually grey out. We'll stop gaining skill points from these at 15, but we'll continue to craft a bunch of them because I know full well that we're going to need them. Very quickly after that, we'll move on to creating yet more parts. This is going to be a bit of a pattern. You'll see we unlock the shock spring coils and the greased up gears. We can learn those recipes, but we won't make them just yet. Let's get to at least skill 15 before we start making anything else. It's kind of up to you if you want to craft a whole bunch of the intermediates to begin with, or whether you want to craft them as and when you need them. But considering that I've worked out that you're going to need them, you might as well. You can see here, sometimes we're making 2, sometimes we're making 3. This is why the numbers may vary ever so slightly. We've got an inspiration proc that also gave us some slightly higher quality ones. I guess I should talk about quality just a touch whilst these are crafting. For the purpose of leveling, don't feel the need to go out and buy high quality materials. We're pretty much just hunting for skill points at this moment. Building for quality is something that we'll do once we finish leveling up and once we're trying to make endgame gear that we then plan on selling to others. At this moment in time, it's going to be much cheaper to use just the basic materials. Right, there's a bunch of those made. We'll chill here for now whilst we can come back and make some more if we need. Grab a whole bunch of recipes. It's a relatively boring leveling path. We actually just now start making a whole bunch of these shock spring coils. I know we need at least 15 for the next component, so I'll craft these now to keep the leveling pace up. This should get us all the way, hopefully, to skill 25 if we're lucky. They go green at 25, I think. Oh, they go green at 22, so we may need to craft a handful more of these to get to 25. We're at 24. We need that final skill point. Of course. Right, we can craft a few more to get to 25. It's key to get to 25. 25 unlocks us the spec trees. Once we've unlocked spec trees... Oh, Lord, it's going to do this to me. Okay, right, fine. We'll go back and make some Ceravite bolts. We unlock spec trees at skill 25. My recommendation is probably not to pay too much attention to the spec trees just yet. There we go, skill 25. You won't have many knowledge points to spend at this point anyway. You can take a little bit of a look at the spec trees and start having a read through them, but I'd be really careful about playing with these just yet. There's no undo button with the specializations in Dragonflight. If you unlock something or if you spend knowledge points, there's no way to reverse that decision. So you want to make sure that you have a bit of a plan of action ahead of time. Knowledge points are going to get drip fed to us slowly but surely. There's a huge amount that can be obtained quite quickly, but then they sort of dry up and you're relying on just weekly quests and the likes to get access to more of these. This is going to be the long-term progression for any of the professions in Dragonflight. You're going to want to come across as many of these as possible and spend them wisely. For now, though, we don't need to worry too much about the spec trees. We've hit skill 25, and it's this point where we can actually start making some interesting items. Some haphazard tethered wires is our next point of call. We can craft these all the way up to skill 30 if we craft 5 of these. These are a finishing reagent. Finishing reagents are new in Dragonflight as well. Finishing reagents will allow you as a crafter the ability to buff a single craft. If you use these tethered wires, you'll be 9% more likely to improve engineering, but it will also increase the recipe difficulty. It's kind of a bit of a kiss curse. Some of the finishing reagents are quite cool. That should get us to skill 30. From skill 30 onwards, we're going to make a few Draconium Brainwave Amplifiers. Draconium Brainwave Amplifiers. Okay, to make these, we're going to need, surprise, surprise, more Ceravite bolts. So let's go back a stage, craft up the rest of these Ceravite bolts. We're going to need... As time goes on, as you play with engineering more and more, you'll realise that crafting these parts is the big time-consuming aspect of it. And this is actually where there could be a really good opportunity for gold making out there. Because most engineers will want to specialise in a direction that makes gear more effectively, an alternative option for the more casual gold maker might be to just specialise in making these parts more efficiently. Especially some of the top end parts are going to be really quite difficult to make at top quality, at quality 3. If you specialise in making those, you might even find a nice little market for selling the higher quality parts to other engineers who have chosen to spend their spec points somewhere else. Quite a cool little mechanism for Dragonflight. I'm really looking forward to how it's going to play out. Do we have enough to make a few of these now? We do. Let's pause it there for now. Let's make these Draconium Brainwave Amplifiers. We're going to make 5 of these, and we're going to equip the best one that we craft. The other 4 you can do as you please with. Maybe throw them up on the auction house if needs be. Hopefully... Oh, we procced a quality 3 one. We procced a second quality 3. We're guaranteed quality 3. Lovely stuff. This is an accessory. Professions in Dragonflight have 2 accessory slots and a profession tool that can be equipped. And it will be in your interest to min-max these a little bit if you want to be that best crafter on your realm. At the moment, there's not too much of an importance for these, but as we've made some of them, we might as well throw the best quality one we made. As you see, as quality steps up with these, there's plus 30 inspiration on a quality 2, plus 32 inspiration on a quality 3, and these can go up to quality 5 potentially as well. Right, at skill 40-ish, we can learn some new recipes. The thing we're actually going to be looking to make is going to be the overcharged overclocker. These are the most cost-effective way to get up to skill 50. We're going to need a handful more components to craft the 9 of these that we're going to need. The 9 to 10 of these we're going to need. Let's make a few more items real quickly. There we go. Now we should have the materials available to get this up to skill 50. Now, we're going to run out of trainer recipes at skill 50, and we're going to run out of things that we can craft for skill points. This is where we're going to want to do one of probably 3 different things. Either we're going to want to start looking into more detail at our spec trees and start figuring out just where we want to spend some of those skill points. Alternatively, we want to be going out into the open world, and we want to be maybe potentially grinding some reputation with a few of the factions out there to gain some recipes that way. Or the real lazy man approach is to maybe take a little bit of a look in the auction house and see if there's any recipes available there. There will be a couple of them available as time goes on. From here on out, though, you are kind of at the mercy of work orders. Work orders are going to play a big part in Dragonflight. You're potentially going to be looking to hopefully fill some work orders for binoculars, your goggles. Now, of course, you do require engineering to wear these goggles, but you never know, you might still be able to find the odd work order for these all the same. There's an interesting thing that is becoming quite popular with engineering that I'll talk about ever so quickly, and it's the braces. Engineers are going to be able to make a set of braces for different people as well. A mail version, a plate one, a leather one, and a cloth one. The discovery of these, or should I say the way that you gain the patterns, quite interesting. You have a chance of learning the pattern when you craft either goggles, guns, or braces themselves. So this is where your emphasis is on crafting as many goggles, guns, or braces to get access to these patterns nice and quickly. The reason these are sort of becoming a little bit more, or gaining some interest, is that they're not going to clash with tier sets in the first season. And the Tinker slot that can be utilized on these has some quite cool little benefits. There's some fancy PvP options here. I suspect the PvP crowd might be very, very interested in these. This could be a good way for you to craft some of these to push your skill up to 100 from this point on. But that's the basics, boys and girls. That's about as far as you're going to get with trainer recipes. You're going to be, like I said, at the mercy of work orders from this point on. So your path will then differ from this point on. You can see, because of the way RNG works, we were left over with a couple materials. You may be left up with slightly less than this, or even slightly more, just based on how lucky you were when crafting your bolts and your coils. But there you go, there's skill 50. If you enjoyed the video, boys and girls, please remember to give the video a like. Consider subscribing if you're new around here, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.